She looks like a hot mouse.
Welcome to Wow If True, the podcast of your wildest memes.
We're one-stop shop internet culture shop, here to dissect what's going viral, why we care, and how this might affect our real human lives. I'm a really cool lawyer who can give you lawyer advice for free, Isabel.
And I'm Amanda. Anyone can be famous on the internet, so why not us?
I would love that. I want to impersonate someone and be famous on the internet. That sounds great.
Oh yeah, I mean, that probably happens. Like, it's like the author of My Immortal, who we still don't know who they are, but then there was a moment in, 2017 when somebody wrote this big Vox article, it's me. I'm the author of My Immortal. I was an author in foster care, and I was using My Immortal to find my brother who I got separated from. And then it turned out that story was a lie. That's what you're doing right now, except... I believe so, yeah, because we still don't know who the author of My Immortal is.
Well, it's me. I'm the problem. I'm Isabel. But really, I'm Eric Silver. Hello.
Yes, you are Eric Silver, the author of My Immortal. No, just kidding. You are Eric Silver. Introduce yourself. Hello.
Hello, I'm Eric Silver, previous guest, Canva Warlock, DM of Join the Party, the best Dungeons & Dragons podcast on the internet, best DM in podcasting. I'm also the host of Games and Feelings, a games advice podcast, and I have other shows coming out imminently in 2023. It's going to be a busy one.
Hell yeah. Notably, Games and Feelings is a podcast in which I uncovered my truest talent of doing a Squirtle impression, but now I haven't lost my voice, so I probably can't do it as well, but it was like, Squirtle! But it was better when I, half lost my voice, but... we win some, we lose some. But this is our first episode of 2023. We've been a podcast for 2 years now. Throwback to 2 years ago tomorrow from the day when we're recording this, in which Isabel and I were going to announce that we were starting a podcast, but it was January 6th, 2021, and then other things happened that day, and we were like, yeah, we're not announcing our podcast.
Hey, democracy is crumbling around us, but we're starting a tech show. Are you interested?
Yeah, democracy's crumbling around us, but you know what's not crumbling around us? Our podcast that's coming out next week. No. Something that also happened 2 years ago was that a romance writer faked their death.
Yep. I was also going to say Wow If True was going to have the subtitle of Democracy Dies in Darkness, but it really fell on the January 6th.
Oh yeah, for sure. We were gonna be subtitled Democracy Dies in Darkness, and we were going to be owned by Jeff Bezos, but now we're just an independent podcast with no venture capital money, which is really sad for us.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I took the wind out of your pivot to tell that joke, but I was really trying to figure out how to find the phrase democracy dies in darkness, so I did some furious Googling, and I needed to share what I found. But yeah, a woman faked her death, and she wrote novels, and now she's back. 2023 off with a bang.
Yeah, when, you're thinking about what to talk about on Wow If True, this is an issue that only me and Isabel have. Isabel, who is not here because she is part of a sword fighting competition in Atlantis.
Best of luck to Isabel.
Yeah, that was my elaborate reason for why Isabel's not here. I think it's just funnier if we come up with a ridiculous reason, because that's more fun than saying that Isabel got by the round boy after 3 years.
Oh, is that the new thing, the round boy?
Oh, no, that's the old thing, because one of me and Isabel's friends, who is a preschool teacher and thus was exposed to a lot of germs in March 2020, was one of the first confirmed cases of COVID in Philadelphia. And
Whoa.
She went viral for saying, I have been plagued by the round boy.
That's pretty good. I mean, that is what they look like when you zoom in really close.
Yeah, but so Isabel's plagued by the round boy, but it's just more fun to pretend that she's not here for a more fun reason.
No, that's fine. Sword fighting competition is good. I feel like talking about anything in 2023 means you have to speed run past the part where you're chewing over a fun piece of gossip and immediately start reckoning of whether or not this is a good thing to do, or you're a good person for enjoying it, or if the person at the center of it is actually a good person or a bad person, or if that makes you a good or bad person. So it's like, I don't even know where I'm supposed to stand. But it sure is funny that someone faked their own death and then tried to come back on the internet.
As I was going to say before figuring out the elaborate reason why Isabel is not here, what is a more wow if true story than somebody in a romance writers Facebook group faking her own death to sell more of her $1.99 Kindle books, and then 2 years later being like, just kidding, that was my family that said I faked my own death. I'm alive. And then she ended her announcement post with, "Let the fun begin," which I think that's just going to be my motto for 2023.
Let the fun begin is a good one. That has such like wine mom energy. Like, let the fun begin feels like something on a pillow or a poster that you can buy at Home Goods. And there's like a big glass of wine with wine sloshing out of the top.
This kind of reminds me of, I was having a conversation with my brother about how in 2022 my approach to covering Elon Musk buying Twitter was like, I am concerned for humanity because I'm a person who cares about like people having human rights and how the internet impacts those human rights. But in 2023, I'm just like, I just want the most ridiculous thing to happen because I'm tired and everything is bad. But I really want Mr. Beast to become the CEO of Twitter because Mr. Beast said he wants the job and Elon Musk was like, it's an option.
I can't follow this stuff. It just reminds me that like the crafted person who I am in person and online, it's like everything is just kind of like the whims and playthings of billionaires. And yeah, Mr. Beast is going to come in and run the company where I've built like the largest venue where people know me and like the things that I do. Like, fuck me, man. Whatever. So, yeah, go off, romance mom. Go die and come back. Who cares? People will forget about it in 2 weeks, and then you'll be, like, apologized for. Because, like, the Harry Potter game's gonna come out, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, wild. And then some other shit's gonna happen. Like, someone's gonna kill their husband using bees or some shit, and that's gonna be, like, plagiarism from someone else's murder mystery, true crime romance novel. Like, no one's gonna remember in a week. You live your life, I guess. I'm surprised that she stayed dead for 2 years.
I know, that's like, what was she doing for those 2 years? Like, was she writing new books and now she's gonna release them, or was she just vibing?
She was just vibing. You know she didn't write anything. She had writer's block because she was like, all my energy is going towards being dead right now, so I can't really write.
Yeah, and then, like, as you alluded to, with a story like this, it's like, in 2023, because I am poisoned by internet discourse, I immediately jump to, is it okay to, like, make fun of this? Like, is this just a woman who is, like, very deeply not well? Because she said that she did attempt suicide, and then her family went in and was like, haha, she's dead. But, like, what is that? Did that even happen? Like, you can't trust anything she says because she faked her own death. Like,
exactly.
What's happening? And maybe, like, I don't know. It's like, on one hand, like, I think it is a good instinct that people have to, like, think about how the gossip they spread on the internet impacts people. But at the same time, it's like, she faked her own death and then came back. Like, what?
Yeah, it's frustrating and weird. I think that there's something about, like, the lowercase c conservatism of the internet that's coming alongside the uppercase c conservatism that happens on the internet, of just, like, preemptively keeping yourself in check because you're worried about offending others. And, like, people have written about this before. I'm probably taking this from, like, a blog post or an article that I read, but it's like, you know, there is a reason to shame someone on the internet because they're, like, a literal bad person. Like Ben Shapiro, fuck yourself every time someone makes fun of you and talks about how short you are.
Yeah.
And everyone looks at your sister and says hubba hubba. It's kind of funny. It's funny because you're a bad person, right? And, like, deplatforming, all that shit, it's worthwhile because you're a bad person. But at the same time, people are so afraid about a cancel culture mob that doesn't exist that they hold themselves back. And it's an excuse, I think, for people who are already in power to continue to be in power by blaming stuff on the cancel culture mob. And this is all over the political spectrum. Like, obviously, we've seen people all the way on the right do it. But, like, you know, liberals do it, too, all the time. Saying people on Twitter can tweet at me is the new all of my haters and losers out there, you know? Not to borrow a Trumpism, but truly to borrow a Trumpism.
Damn, Eric likes Trump. Just kidding.
Come on, Raltz.
No, we are not going to take what you said and twist it into something you didn't say. But yeah, I mean, I feel like reporting on creators, there's overwhelming evidence that cancel culture doesn't really exist. Like, today I was like doing research about Logan Paul's failed crypto game where he scammed people out of a lot of money, and it's just a fucking mess. But like, Logan Paul is still super, super rich and has a massive following, and, like, he's done so much bad shit on the internet, like making fun of people for committing suicide in that forest in Japan that he made a video about, and, like, did not think that he shouldn't be, like, wearing a green alien hat and be, like, making fun of people for a serious thing. And then you have David Dobrik, who is just like, what is happening, where there were allegations of sexual assault on his set, and then also he very nearly killed one of his friends on his set because he was so careless about, like, operating a giant crane, and his friend Jeff Wittick ended up needing to get, like, 9 surgeries and almost died. And David Dobrik just opened a pizza place. And it's like, you can do anything.
Like, nothing stops. Yeah. It's like,
oh my God.
There's you know that aphorism about why people vote Republican? It's because they're going to be rich one day, so they want to make sure the rules are good enough for them when eventually they hit the lottery or become super rich. It's like, it sounds like that. It's like, well, when I'm a celebrity, I'm going to dislike it when people tweet at me, so I'm going to continue to, like, blame the Twitter mob or blame people on the internet who are or who are not reaching out to you. And the more you say, don't tweet me, I know you're going to tweet me about this, and act defensive, the people who are going to tweet at you are going to extra tweet at you because they know that you saw them. Like, it's a tautology that only reinforces people who are already in power, which is ridiculous. And also just like, everyone stop complaining about people tweeting at you because they're just going to do it. This, of course, does not this is not included with people who get harassed on the internet for who they are. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are like, oh, I definitely pronounced this wrong, don't tweet at me. It's like, it doesn't exist because it just doesn't exist as much. You're making it exist by speaking it into creation.
Damn. Maybe 2023 is the year on the internet where we make mistakes and own it, unless if those mistakes are faking your own death or almost killing your friend on your YouTube set because you're an idiot.
Exactly, yeah. Own your mistakes unless they're really big mistakes, and then you deserve the fucking shame.
Damn, can't believe the news story's gonna break that in reality Eric is here because I killed Isabel. Just kidding. She's fine.
What was the last line of the letter?
Let the fun begin.
2023, let the fun begin.
Hell yeah. And so, since you are the game master and the best DM in podcasting, we are going to play some games to celebrate the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, but also 1927. We'll get to that later. 3 very important years, 2 of which we have lived in and 1 of which we presumably have not. But I made a very fun game that I'm so proud of this name. Wow If 2 Truths and a Lie.
Oh my god.
So I have 2 truths and a lie about things that happened in internet culture and tech news in 2020, and you have to tell me which one is the lie.
You said 2020.
Oh, 2022. We're still in 2020 because you know that whole thing that happened that is still impacting people, hence Isabel not being here. You know that thing that happened?
Yeah, good times.
As the master of game, you know that everybody's least favorite games are freshman year of college get to know you icebreakers like 2 truths and a lie, but we're gonna do it anyway. So, okay, here are the first set of 2 truths and a lie. I have 2 sets and then a very special bonus round. Okay. 1. The FDA issued a warning against eating chicken cooked in NyQuil, citing this as a TikTok trend. However, no one on TikTok was actually doing this, but rather they were making fun of a 4chan trend called Sleepy Chicken from 2017.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Glee creators Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk get into a Twitter feud after Falchuk posts a joke about Lea Michele not being able to read. 3. Queen Elizabeth dies while controversial YouTuber Trisha Paytas is heavily pregnant, forcing the YouTuber to address rumors about whether her child is the reincarnation of the Queen.
Oh, this is really difficult because much like Two Truths and a Lie, you made all of them very close to things that definitely happened. Much like when you say, I don't have 2 siblings, I have 3. So the first
Booyah!
one, 100%. The first one, 100% real. I know that happened because that was wild. And there were so many photos of that purple chicken. It was so gross.
Yeah.
And I also know it was fake because the U.S. government is not filled with people who are in touch with reality. The third thing I know, because my friend Hetty is very into YouTube drama and kept me abreast of the Trisha Paytas situation. And also, you named the second one. You did name my single favorite story of 2022, which is that Lea Michele probably does not know how to read, which is the single funniest thing. But I don't think that those two got into a Twitter scrap about it. So I'm going to say that the second one is the lie.
Damn, you are correct, but I had a...
Ryan Murphy is too busy doing everything else than being on Twitter.
Yeah, he's not really on Twitter, but I had a lot of fun making up that lie. At first I had it be an Instagram feud, but then I was like, how do you really get into an Instagram feud? Like, it's harder because text posts are ephemeral, but hey, people do it. It happens.
Ryan Murphy creates 6-part limited series about how Lea Michele does know how to read.
Wait, speaking of 6-part limited series, like, can we talk about how I told you this in, like, normal conversation? I found out over the holidays that my uncle was a detective on the murder of Versace, which was then turned into an American Horror Story series, and I'm just like, I'm still just thinking about that. Like, no one ever told this to me. This murder happened, like, 20 years ago, and, like, this only came up because he was dunking on me, because I said that my career goal for 2023 is to be a talking head in a documentary, and then he was like, oh, I've been a talking head in a documentary, and I was like, what?
You dumb child. Why would you want something that I've already done? I love how it's a secret and he only pulled it out to dunk on you. That's the first thing that I understood when you shared that. Incredible.
Yeah, I don't think it's a secret so much as he just, like, doesn't talk about, like, the stuff that he detectived on, because I guess maybe,
the thing is,
like...
that doesn't... Your whole family knew, right? They just didn't decide to tell you.
Yeah, just, like, I just never knew this, and then now I know this, and... Now I need to watch the limited series to see if my uncle is represented in it, but he probably isn't because he's just some guy.
You know how toxic masculinity is, like, bad for everyone, you know, not just women, but also for men? This is like the Christmas holidays where everyone is with their extended family is bad for everyone, including Jews. Like, families will turn on each other. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's really good for me because my brother works at a crypto startup, and then I have to listen to him explain his job to people, and it makes me laugh because he struggles and people don't get it, and it's very funny to me.
Some would say that's not fun and a bad hazard of your extended family.
I think it's fun. But speaking of crypto, our next Two Truths and a Lie is FTX themed.
Oh, geez.
So, all right. 1. While under investigation for a laundry list of criminal fraud charges, it is revealed that members of the FTX inner circle had a group chat called Wire Fraud. 2.
Well, can I say, before you move on, can I say that anyone, regardless, having a group text called Wire Fraud is hilarious.
Yes, I think we should all name our group texts Wire Fraud now, regardless of whether or not we're doing wire fraud.
100% agree, yeah.
2. While under investigation for a laundry list of criminal fraud charges, journalists reported on a Tumblr blog which allegedly belongs to Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison, in which she said that the traits she finds most attractive in men are, quote, controlling most major world governments, end quote, and, quote, spatial reasoning abilities, end quote.
Fuck, I hope that one's real, jeez.
The context is Alameda Research is a crypto trading firm that was, like, funded by Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, which is why that's involved.
Was she the one that Sam Bankman-Fried was having sex with, or was that somebody else?
Well, number 3, Caroline Ellison has pled not guilty and will receive a lesser sentence in exchange for helping the government investigate FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. However, some crypto insiders have revealed that Ellison and Bankman-Fried remain part of the same Bahamas-based polycule.
Right, okay. So here's the thing. Regardless of what you wrote, this one is like, man, I really hope all these is true. I really think that this was the year of Tumblr 2022. So maybe I'm falling into the trap, but I think that naming your group chat wire fraud is the fake.
No, that's real.
No! Was 2 fake?
No, number 3 is fake. She did plead guilty and is helping investigate Sam Bankman-Fried in exchange for a lesser sentence, but there is no reporting that she is still part of that Bahamas polycule. However, it is, like, very, very rumored that she and Sam Bankman-Fried were romantically involved and that there was a polycule, and then this was fun for me because I had to explain to people at work what polycule means.
Oh, okay. So, like, I had the component parts, but you decided to put the Legos together, and that was incorrect when you smooshed them all together. Okay. Yeah, man, 1 and 2 felt so real that I felt bad that I had to choose 1 or 2 that I thought was incorrect.
Yeah, well, okay. Now we have the bonus round. It is an Elizabeth Holmes themed 4 Truths and a Lie, in which I'm going to ask you a question based on 1 legal document. So, in the fall, over 130 people wrote letters to Judge Ed Davila, who is presiding over the Theranos trials, because they were trying to humanize her so that she gets a more lenient sentence. So these were, like, character letters. So, 4 Truths and a Lie. Which of these people did not write a letter for Elizabeth Holmes? 1. Senator Cory Booker. 2.
Okay.
Theranos' former security supervisor for Arizona operations. 3. Former CDC director William Fogg. 4. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. 5. Venture capitalist Tim Draper.
Ooh, this is tough. I thought you were going to tell me that, like, The Dropout, you know, the good show made by Elizabeth Merriweather of New Girl, was actually a psyop as paid for by Elizabeth Holmes to make her seem way more relatable and quirky.
Oh my god. Yeah, maybe is that your 2023 media prediction for the year?
Oh, yeah. The Dropout was a psyop. Yeah, that all of the Wikipedia fiction shows that came out last year, the ones of, like, about grifters, that they were all actually elaborate psyops to rehab their images. Yeah.
Ooh, I think that the best predictions for the year are the ones that are just completely unhinged, because then if you do end up being right, then it's like, I'm a genius, and if you're wrong, nothing happens. But if you predict, like, Tesla's stock is gonna go down, it's like, that's boring. Get good.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think the only person who didn't write in was the guy who used to work at Theranos in Arizona.
Nope. Theranos Arizona employee wrote in. The false one was Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. So this does mean that Senator Cory Booker, a former security supervisor for Arizona operations of Theranos, a former CDC director, and a venture capitalist wrote letters of support.
Can you tell me, as someone who is a lady, why? What the fuck is up with Elizabeth Holmes that so many dudes will do anything for her and find her irresistible? I don't get it. Because she looks like a hot mouse, like from a cartoon, like a lady mouse, and who's in a turtleneck, and I just don't get it.
I think that maybe it's that people that work in tech are just very starved for, like, attention from any female. That's what I'm going with.
No, that's fair. And it's just wild how, like, antiquated ideas of beauty. Like, I don't even want to talk about like, oh, standards of beauty, whatever, in 2023. It's not interesting. But like, just having blonde hair, they looked at this woman and be like, wowee, she has visible breasts and blonde hair. Nice. Like, what kind of fucking 17th century ass, like, we're so, the truly only thing that's attractive to us is the color of your hair. We're going to throw everything out. What kind of standards are we following? I guess that's what guys in tech, because they're so starved. That's all we can do.
Well, Elizabeth Holmes is still appealing her sentencing, which was over 11 years in prison, and we'll see how that pans out, because that will unfortunately continue being a story in 2023, and maybe it will also be a story that the dropout was actually an elaborate psyop. But moving on to our next game. Hey, Eric, what's your favorite thing about January 1st specifically?
My favorite thing about January 1st is that getting a hangover reminds me of times where I had less responsibility and I was fancy-free and living very close by with my friends.
Damn. Well, my favorite thing about January 1st is that it's public domain day. Insert vuvuzela here. And this means that a bunch of new works have entered the public domain, and we always talk about this on WoW True because we are nerds and one of us is a lawyer, but, like, in 2021, Great Gatsby became public domain, so now that means that the copyright on The Great Gatsby has expired and people can interpret it and make new things based on it without being sued for copyright infringement. So, for example, now Florence and the Machine is writing a Great Gatsby musical, and that sounds delightful. I would see that.
I'm 100% in on that. That sounds incredible. I think the best example is the Winnie the Pooh murder movie. I thought it was a lie. It turns out it's just public domain day gone awry. That some guy is just using Winnie the Pooh and doing whatever the fuck he wants with it.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh slasher film. Apparently that's coming out next month, and unfortunately Isabel and I are going to have to go see it, and it's going to be a mess.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'll come to New York to see it. You can come see the Winnie the Pooh slasher with us.
I will not, but you can find me afterwards and you can tell me about it.
All right, we'll be like, you'll be waiting, like, with a beer, like, tell me about your woes, traveler.
Yeah, I'm going to be standing outside of the movie theater with a tall boy in a brown bag.
Since Isabel isn't here, I do have to mention that public domain isn't, like, free for all, do whatever you want. Like, you can still get into trouble if the thing that you are making content about is litigious. For example, Mickey Mouse entered the public domain this year. However, it is specifically the version of Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Mickey, which is a very old film that the first Mickey Mouse ever appeared in, and that version of Mickey Mouse is very different from the current Mickey Mouse. So be careful, because Disney did one time sue a daycare in Florida because they had painted a Minnie Mouse mural. So we made a game. It was a collaborative enterprise in which we have 10 pieces of media that entered the public domain in 2023. So they were all from 1927 because that's how time works. And 10 ways in which they could be interpreted into new media. Like, for example, if we rolled The Great Gatsby and then TikTok food vlog, then we would decide that maybe all along Nick Carraway wanted to be a chef, and through his cooking TikToks, he will tell us the story of his wealthy friend who died ass up in a pool.
I hate that. I totally see that coming. That's incredible.
Yeah, so you have the D10, so let's roll 2 D10s.
Yeah, I'm very excited to do this. We do this all the time on Join the Party. It's really easy just if you want to, instead of just like improving, just make up some tables and then roll a die to decide. So we're going to be coming up with what these could be, what these public domain things could be, plus in the new media. I'm very excited about this.
I'm excited too.
Are you going to publish the tables?
Probably. We have like a Patreon tier where you get our show notes, but this is a fun game, so I think I'll just share the table because there's other fun stuff in the notes, like WoW of 2 Truths and a Lie.
All right, the thing that I got was Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse, a poetic story about a man who feels to be half man and half wolf. Here's the top Goodreads review. I read this book on a 24-hour train journey surrounded by the bourgeoisie. It was a terrifying experience. The book didn't change my life and was not meant to, but it gave me hope, and hope is always a good thing.
I just thought that was a great review.
Incredible. I love this. Herman Hesse, you know that it's very overwritten and there's a lot of poetry involved. And then I rolled a 1, which means that we're going to try to turn this into a movie that would make people go to the theater in 2023.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay.
It's like very specifically catered to the Tumblr audience as Sony trying to do a do-over for Morbius. And because of the half man, half wolf thing, they're really leaning into like ABO culture, which I learned about because Isabel told me about it on the podcast. But it's like people being really into like the werewolf clan dynamics about who's the alpha, the beta, and the omega. And maybe Steppenwolf is the omega.
No, that's interesting. It's like pairing. It's kind of like a Being There sort of thing. It's like a satire of society, but it's not heavy-handed, so everyone reviews that it's actually just boring and slow. Where like the society of the wolves and the society of people are the same and have the same dynamics.
Yeah. I think it would also be very like queer baity, but not explicitly queer, and then there'd be a lot of think pieces and Slate about it.
That's a good point. I think that no one would come see this movie, unfortunately. It would underperform at the box office. So, yeah, great point, but I think that you got Goncharov pilled and you forgot it's not a real movie. But I think that the only way to get people to come to the movie theater in 2023, if this was part of the public domain cinematic universe, this great and then Great Gatsby is there, Shakespeare is there, and they're trying to help their friend Steppenwolf get out of the jam.
Oh man, we should make the public domain extended universe. That's a great idea for a horrible podcast.
I'm sure that podcast exists. Someone definitely came up with that one again.
Yeah.
All right, you want to do another one?
Yeah.
All right, we got a 6 and a 2. 6 is, the song, The Best Things in Life Are Free. How does that song go?
The best things in life are free. It's from the musical Good News and has been covered by, like, Sam Cooke and stuff.
Very famous song, yeah.
I like this one because the best things in life are free. Like IP that is now in the public domain.
Oh, that's good. I do like this one because, taking a song and turning it into one of the many things that are good or that are only accepted media in 2023 is even funnier here, because number 2, I rolled a YouTube series that adapts this IP into modern times.
Well, maybe this is like a YouTube fictional series in which it's about the audio drama podcast team that is trying to create the public domain extended universe in which they take as many characters as possible that are in the public domain and turn it into like a Shrek sort of situation where like you got Puss in Boots, you got like the princess, you got Lord Farquaad. I don't know if Lord Farquaad is from another IP, but imagine.
No, I like that. I really like how self-reflexive this is. Like it's a YouTube series about trying to turn a song into a podcast. I wonder if this just becomes a series of prank videos that use this as the background, and it's all about pretending you're going to give people money, but you don't, and then you say the best things in life are free.
Yeah, that's a good one, and it's by Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast is involved.
Let's roll again.
All right, I got a 2 and a 7. So 2 is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. The Ramseys are a family who are on vacation in the Isle of Skye. They want to visit the lighthouse, but Mr. Ramsey says they can't go there for no reason, which is frustrating and makes everyone experience a lot of emotions, which are conveyed from multiple viewpoints with little dialogue. Like most families, the dynamics among the family members are complicated. At the end of the book, they finally go to the lighthouse. It was really important for Ralts to figure out if they went to the lighthouse.
Yeah, so I haven't read any of these books, but I read descriptions and wrote these little descriptions about them, and I was like, well, did they go to the lighthouse? I need to know this. And they did. So I'm happy about that.
So what I had said, I rolled a 7, and what I had said for this was just musical, but I think that we've already named it because what Raltz wrote for 7 is the students at East High turned this IP into a musical in the 3rd season of High School Musical, the series. And that's just we're done. We don't have to do any more detail. That's true.
Yeah, you're right. I girl bossed a little too close to the sun on number 7.
Yeah, you just wrote it. It's like, here you go, Disney Plus. Just take this. Honestly, this is the perfect one to fit here. I love like a really emotional, really fraught family drama written by Virginia Woolf trying to be turned into a musical. I honestly like this more than like the trope of a musical, like a fake musical in a TV show being like a musical of an action movie. I think that fraught literary novel from the 20s is much funnier.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that High School the Musical, the series is an underrated artistic masterpiece of our time. I'm not even saying that, like, as a joke. Like, it is so funny how meta it is and how self-aware it is of how ridiculous it is that it is a show. And I just think that's funny. And then also Olivia Rodrigo is there. And the guy that she wrote one of the most popular songs of all time about and did not look good in that song is also there.
Listen, I am incredibly burnt out on High School Musical stuff. Like, I came around really quickly from people saying it was good, and now I'm like, oh no, y'all are just the same people who are telling me that Harry Potter is good, and I just can't. I adults who still think that this is good, I can't watch that in good conscience.
Yeah, I mean, I had a phase in high school where I was like, what if I liked this thing ironically? And that was 10 years ago, so, you know.
I know. It's like it's come all the way around, though. Is like then it becomes a part of your personality when you let the irony settle in your body for too long.
Yeah, it's like me and Shrek. Like, I definitely went way too far with Shrek, but High School the Musical, the series is genuinely, like, it's a good show.
I'm sure. I mean, again, I think self-reflexiveness and like a show within a show within a show is very funny, especially. It's very, like, postmodern, and I'm sure it's good.
Yes, the key postmodern work of our time, High School Musical, the series on Disney+.
All right, let's do one more.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I got a 10, and then I got... Oh, no, I already did that one. Okay, I got a 10 and a 5. Oh, this is fucking perfect. Rob, this is so funny. Okay. Number 10 is Wings, the 1927 silent film, which was the winner of the first ever Academy Award for Best Picture. Jack and David both have crushes on Sylvia, but Jack doesn't realize that the girl next door, Mary, is in love with him. Jack and David go off to serve in World War I, but everyone's feelings about who likes who are confused. Mary gets a job driving an ambulance to help out the war. She sees Jack while out there and on leave, but he's too drunk. She puts him to bed, but then she changes clothes and people barge in, and it's a whole thing. David ends up dying. Jack feels guilty, but David's mom says that it's the fault of the war, not Jack's fault. This is really difficult of how they would say all this stuff in a silent film, but eventually Jack and Mary end up happily ever after.
I had so much fun writing all of these descriptions, and I'm sad that some of them we won't get to, because there's one involving a fake vampire, but damn, 1927 was a great year in media, let me tell you.
I just can't believe how Academy Award films were so on the nose even from the jump. It's incredible. So we're doing that one, but then we're going to number 5, which is that number 5 is this is an advertisement for a company on TikTok.
Yes. Okay. So how do we turn this into a company? It could be some kind of like flight safety software that prevents David or I forget which one died, but the one that died doesn't die because of this software. But then he steals Mary, and then it all just changes, you know?
Okay, I'm going to go one step further, is that they actually just rip this off for a series of, like, highly produced TikToks. Like, keeping the silent film, retelling the story. It's silent, using, like, the silent film text of the whole thing. They redo pretty much the whole movie, and at the end of, like, 20 TikToks, you realize that it was that the whole thing was an ad for life insurance.
Ooh, yeah, and then there's a YouTube expose about how this was actually an ad that didn't say it was an ad, and thus it violates the FTC or something.
Yeah, like only the last one has like a title card that comes up that says like farmer's insurance. Life is precious.
There was like a YouTube video that Swell Entertainment made. She is cool. It was like about this company advertising on TikTok by doing the thing where it's like, here's how I spent $20,000 a month as a sophomore at NYU. And then in all these videos, it's the same, like, 3 people, and they're all using this one weird finance app. And then she basically uncovered, like, this isn't real. These are just people working for the app, and they want to get viral based on, like, sensationalism. So they're saying that they spend $20,000 in a month.
Oh, my God.
You're not on TikTok, so you don't see the, like, people are like, how I spent X amount of money in a month in New York City. But then my favorite ones are when it's like, here's how I spent $10,000, and it's a guy being like, yep, I eat ramen every day, I have a shitty apartment, and I had a medical bill that I had to pay, and that's how I spent $10,000.
I mean, wouldn't this... I feel like that's the point of this campaign, this ad campaign. If, like, let's say life insurance company wanted to get some buzz about them because they're a life insurance company, that they would want this to be uncovered and just start some buzz that maybe what they're doing is not exactly nice, but it would get them some press. And they were like, we weren't trying to defraud anyone. We were trying to use the first Academy Award winning Best Picture to tell the story of why life is precious, war is hard, and you need to protect yourself with life insurance. Like, can't you imagine, like, they got Damien Chazelle or fucking Steven Soderbergh to do this? Because they would love, like, shooting the whole thing on iPhones and, like, hearkening back to the beginning of Academy Award history. I could see them doing that intentionally for a journalist to uncover, and then they can say they had, like, artistic bona fides and it was for the greater good.
Yeah, that would probably happen. Thank you for playing these games with me, and thank you for pretending to be Isabel, which is always a joy. Where can we find you if people don't already know where to find you?
Oh, does Isabel also yell at people to stop being so conservative on the internet? This is the same thing.
I mean, Isabel would say, like, oh, just murder them, it's fine. And then she would say
Isabel
it's not
has,
legal
like,
advice.
the flat affect, but I need to, like, rant and rave about it for 5 minutes.
That's because we're Jewish and Isabel isn't.
Good fucking point. You can find me on the internet at L_Silvero, EL_SALVERO. My name, if I was a Lucha Libre wrestler, that's my name on Twitter and Instagram. But, you know, what the fuck does social media even mean these days? I think y'all should listen to my podcasts, join the party, Games and Feelings, and keep an eye out for 2 more shows that I'm working on in 2023. Big year for Chaboy. I'm Eric.
Oh.
I'm Eric Silver. I'm the best DM in podcasting. Come through, baby.
Yeah. And if you liked this episode, tell a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. Thank you to all of our patrons. Shout out specifically to Zoe, Bray, Andre, Thea, Brian, Gabriel, Lada, Matt, Max, and Aaron's husband, who is a Patreon and also made unlicensed merch for Aaron for Christmas, which I found delightful, and hopefully very soon you can buy licensed merch. Hint, hint for people that listen to the credits. And if you want your name in the above or in our Twitter header, slide right into our Patreon at patreon.com/wowoftrue. Shout out to audio editors Allison Mills and David Newtown, graphic designer and Canva warlock Eric Silver, that's this guy, Sam Rizer, who made our podcast music, and Tessa Farrow, who is starting to transcribe our episodes. You can find us on Twitter at wowofTruePod and Instagram and Facebook as wowoftrue. Have you had your 15 seconds of internet fame? Slide right into our Twitter DMs and tell us about it. Until next time, let's get weird on the internet.
This is the best tech podcast on the internet. Fucking subscribe.
Hell yeah.
Tell your friends. Come on.
Fuck yeah.